Hello everyone, my name is Hyung, a graduated college student from San Jose State University. First of all, I would like to thank Learn to Code to give me this opportunity to be here today. And now I'm gonna answer the question, why do I want to teach? I want to teach because I believe in sharing knowledge and helping others to find the joy of learning, uh, especially in programming. I'm excited to see students turn their idea into realities. And I'm here today uh, to teach you how to build mobile applications for the iPhone. So I believe that we all know how to interact with our smartphone, but isn't it cooler if we can make our own applications? Let's get started. So here is what we're going to build today's a mobile app that lets you spin the objects as many times as you want. So I have the quick demo today to show you. And so here is the applications. And now let's say I'm gonna input 5. And what do you think what happens if I click on the button spin it? Correct. It's gonna the object, the red rectangle, gonna spin 5 times. You don't believe me? Okay, let's see. Wow, isn't that cool? So along the way to develop this app, if you get stuck, don't worry. You can ask me any question. I'll stop and make it clear for you. So go back here, and in order to build the app, we'll need a couple of things. First of all, we will need the Apple computer, a MacBook, an iMac, or anything, and we will need an application. It's called Xcode that helps us writing programming language. And last but not least, we will learn the Swift programming language, an Apple language for developing mobile applications. And now let's take a look at the UIs, the user interface of the apps. So what do we see here on the screen? So anyone want to guess? Yes, we have the object we call it rectangle, right? It's a red rectangle. And the second one is the text field, right? Let the user input like text or number. And the next one that we have is the button, right? And in the computer we call it components. So on the screen we see 3 components: rectangle, text field, and buttons. And okay, I'm gonna ask another questions. One more questions. What do you see? It's like straight line top to bottoms. So what do we call it? Yeah, it's a vertical stack. We stacking. It's very important. We want to put the component in orders of the stack, right? And now let's get into the more fun parts, the codings. Okay, and here's the fun part. You can follow me along the way, and if you have any questions, stop me and ask question. Don't hesitate, okay? So now we just focus on creating iOS applications. So here is the iOS applications, the app. We'll click next. We're gonna name it. So what do you want to name it? We call like spinning objects. All right. Next, and it's gonna ask us to save into any directory that you like. So for right now, I'm just gonna save it on my desktop. Right. Let's wait for a couple seconds. I'm gonna put on full screen. Make it bigger for everyone to see it. Make the app bigger. And I'm gonna move myself here. Make myself smaller. Okay, so here's the app. as you can see that on the left hand side is where you're gonna write code, and on the right hand side it's a preview of what your application gonna look like. So let's mess with this for a little bit. It's a hello world. You can change it into hello everyone, and you can see they reflect the change on the app for whatever change that we make in the coding, right? And okay, and now look at the UI. So this is what we're going to build today, and as I mentioned before, they have three components: the rectangle, the text field, and the buttons. So in the programming language, there a thing called built-in library. So we can achieve that by using the library that already have in the system. So for right now, what we're gonna make is the rectangle first. So how we gonna make it? We're gonna list everything, and I mentioned before we should use the vertical stack for to achieve the project. So how do we use the vertical stack in the Xcode? We're gonna type v for vertical stack, and then now we have the vertical stack, and now we're gonna create a rectangle, right? So we type rectangle. You can see it suggests you to write rectangle right here. Type it on, open and close. Because the rectangle is the black one right here, it's full screen. We don't want it. We want to make it smaller. How do we do it? We call frame. We give it a width of 150, and we give it a height of 150. Voila, you can see that's the 150 here is the pixels on the screen. And now we have the width and the height of the objects. So now we're going to change the color. How do we change the color? So we're going to use foreground style. What color do you want to change this? Let's say we want to do red. Voila, it turned into red. But you can see that the rectangle corner, we don't like it, right? We want to make it like curve a little bit. How do we do it? We're gonna do click shift and rounded rectangle with the corner radius. I'm gonna choose this option right here. We put it 12. You can see it curve 12 pixel. We can do 25. It's more curved, but right now I'm just gonna go with 12. And now we're done with the objects, the spinning objects. And now we're gonna ask the user to input how many times they want. So in Swift, if we want to make the text field, this is how we're gonna do it. Text field, we're gonna label it a number of spin time. With text, what's going to be here? So we're gonna define the objects, the variable. So here how we do it, we call state private var variable. Let's say text type string, and now we're gonna do $sign text, and the text will appear on the screen, but it doesn't look user friendly. We're gonna put into style. We call text field style. We make it rounded border. Oh, this looks better. But now here's the magic. We can put in something called padding. Oh, make it separate from each other, right? We could also make the padding for the object. You can see that they have small space on that. And now we need a buttons. How do we do it with the buttons? So here is the buttons. We call it spin it. So this is how we're gonna make a buttons, but the button doesn't look good as the demo. So how do we do it? We call button style and we choose the options. Wow. And now here's the fun part. We want to make it in like actually work. For right now it doesn't work. If I click on that, nothing will happen. I put 5 in it, nothing will happen. Right, so now something we call is the function to make it work. Here's how we're gonna write a function. Func spinning with, this is the way that I name it. I just like to name it spinning, right? So we're gonna put into conditions. So how do we do spinnings? We need to capture how many times we want it to spin. So go back here, put on stay private var spin time integer. So this is how we define the integer. For the initial integer, let's say we go by 0, right? Or you can put 5, it doesn't matter, right? Right now I'm gonna do 5. And go back into the function. We can call if spins less than 0. We don't spin it, we return. Right? And we something to do that with the animation, and we call with animations. And we call it linear with durations of 2. Right, this is the animation is gonna happen here. And to make the object rotate, so how do we make the object rotate? So there's a in the Swift there's one thing called rotation effect. It takes into the rotations and anchor. The anchor, we want the object rotate around the center, so we call it center. And the computer don't understand rotation right here. We have to make it a rotation for computer to understand. We call it again stay private rotation. And what type of variable for the rotation is the angle. We just put into 0 at first and then we work on it later, right? And now go back into the with animations. We want to have our rotation to rotate with the angle of 360, right? And before that, we make sure our rotation gonna reset into 0. Okay, and imagine if you put into 5 times spinning. After it rotate 1 time and you make the rotation for 1 time in 2 seconds. Duration here is seconds. And you gotta stop for 2 seconds and then continue the next rotation. So how do we do that? In Swift we have something like the patch queue. So do you understand what I'm trying to do here? If not, stop me and add any question that you like. So here's the dispatch queue means async after deadline. Now plus 2 seconds, right? And now here is what we're gonna do the logic. After they spin 1 time, we gonna make it -1 until it reaches to 0, right? And we call spinning again. And now it's not working yet because we didn't set the function for the buttons. So we go back into the buttons. We can call it if let spin. So we try to cache the text field into integer. If it work, we gonna do self mean that in the view they have the variable, we set it into the spin, and now we call spinning. Spin. And so now everything look like it's working, and now we should try it. Let's say we have one here, spin it one cycle. Oh, it's spinning two circle. Why? Right here. So we should, if spin less than 0, mean that they could be 0 and we don't want it, we put into equal, spin less than or equal 0. And now we try it again. They stop, just one rotations. And now we want to spin it 3 times. Spin 1, 2, and 3. Voila, isn't that cool? So if you have any question, let me know, so I'm happy to answer it. And thank you everyone